This video is a preview of the games in the Math Galaxy Fun tutorials. All of the Math Galaxy Fun tutorials have 4 games. For example, here in the Whole Numbers Fun tutorial, we have the Labyrinth, which involves maze searches, Riddles, which is like Wheel of Fortune, where you have to solve a riddle with math problems as clues, Word Jumbles, which is like Riddles except you're solving a word jumble instead of a riddle, and Bridge the Swamp, which is a board game. In the Labyrinth, you guide robots through the mazes to collect treasures, and you earn robots by doing problems in the tutorial area. You get a robot for each problem you do in step-by-step mode, or for each correct answer in final answer-only mode. So let's look at the Labyrinth. There are 3 different maze sizes corresponding to beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This is an example of a beginner maze, sort of a traditional maze, but you also have these boulders that you have to avoid. Okay, and to get out, since the exits may be blocked by the boulders, you also have 2 lasers per robot that fires in the direction that the arrow keys are pointing. And okay, so we're out of that. This is an example of the intermediate size mazes, which are as wide as the beginner's maze but twice as high. And this would be an easy maze on as a beginner, because you would see the entire maze on screen, but it's harder when part of it is off screen. And part of the fun of the mazes is discovering what rules apply, what you need to do to get the treasure for that particular maze. Okay, so whoops. So as we see, that was the wrong direction. Okay, so, and this is another type. So again, that would be the bottom of this maze, and that would be the top. This is an example of the advanced mazes, which are twice as wide as the beginner's maze and twice as high. And this screen size is 640 by 480. If you have larger screen size, you'll see more of the maze. So again, part of the fun of these is figuring out what you need to get to the treasure. So in this case, it's building these bridges while avoiding the creatures here, such as those. Okay, so those are examples of the 3 types of mazes. So this is an example of one of the mazes. The screen looks compressed vertically because of the difference in screen sizes between the game and the video, but in the game it isn't compressed. So for example, here you have to move, get the treasure, and get out safely. Okay, an example of another maze where you have to decide on a path and avoid the creatures. Another type maze. And they're created randomly, so everyone will be different. So, and some of these creatures are smart, some aren't. So another type. So those have been some examples of the mazes. There's also a riddles game like Wheel of Fortune, where the answers to math problems help you solve a riddle. And you can do these topics, for example, time. They're up to 3 players. So here the riddle is, where does sour cream come from? And at the beginning or end of your turn, you can choose to solve the riddle, or you could try to guess letters. So E is 10:05, so E goes there, and let's pass, and let's say you wanted to get O, which is 4:35. Okay, let's try to solve this. So discontented cows. Let's see if that works. Okay, so it does. And measurement, you can do any of these. For example, multiplying length. So how do you make an elephant float? So let's say like E, 1 foot 2 inches 6 times. So that gives you 6 feet and another 12 inches, so 7 feet, no inches. So after a few more letters, it looks like we're ready to solve this. So with root beer and an elephant. Okay, so that works. And you can also do money and 1 or 2 digit hulls for all of the operations. And the word jumbles game is like the riddles, except you're solving word jumbles rather than riddles. There's also a game called Bridge the Swamp, where you can practice these operations. For example, multiplication. There are 3 board sizes. Red is trying to build a bridge in this direction. Green is trying to build a bridge in this direction. And the first player to complete a bridge and block the other player wins. There are no wrong answers, but knowing the operations gives you a better chance of picking the block that you want. For example, green goes first if green wanted 20, so that would be 4 times 5. And if red wanted to block with 35, that would be 5 times 7. So that's a review of the games that come with the program.